Hello, friends. Ryan O'Neill representing Brave New Records here. This is our first attempt at recording a podcast, so I just want to apologize for the sketchy audio throughout. Other than that, sit back and enjoy a conversation between two friends about some dope music.
Yo, what's up, people? It's Ryan O'Neill here with the Love in 3X podcast, episode 3, I believe. Funny enough, it's the first episode we're filming because people can be flaky and but not BG. BG's always on time. He's always there when you call. Like
Yay!
so today BG's gonna be interviewing me about the song Blue. I asked BG to do this because he's been there. He's heard the song for years. When I played it live. He's heard it go from idea, maybe even like just a lick, to the full thing. So I feel like he'd have some good insight, and I don't want to interview myself. So I'll pass it over to the man Beach. Beach.
Word. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Beach here, and yeah. So Blue. I just firstly wanted to say Ryan's absolutely right. I remember from the beginning of this, just a simple lick, and it's one of those things. It's like as soon as you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be dope. This is gonna be dope. And so let's get into it. Blue is actually one of my most favorite songs. And before we get into why that is or anything else, the first thing I want to know about this song, Blue, is it's been said that your songs are pretty much all inspired by past relationships. Now, I don't know how true that is about all your songs, but this one, I believe, is to be the case. So, just where did the inspiration for this song come from?
All right, without naming any names. Yeah. A lot of my songs are about and yeah, I was seeing a young lady and I just like did the thing that young men do, older men do sometimes, which is like string a girl along. Liked her, but didn't like her enough to like really commit. And yeah, after it was all said and done, I mean, in the end, I don't know who ended what, but she's happy now. She's like married and stuff. And I wrote a song because I had an idea, and that's kind of how I roll. It's like, oh, it'd be cool to like kind of put that. It really was just the opening line. I know I made some mistakes and I've been playing games, and I was like, ooh, yeah, let's run with that.
Mm, mm. One of the reasons why I love this song is, after listening to it some more times, um, it's kind of unique in the sense that it's a love song, love in three acts, obviously, but most love songs, especially most sad love songs, are about the hurt that somebody has put on us, the hurt that we feel. And I think the song is so unique because it's really, like you said, it's you being introspective about, the pains or the emotions that you might have caused to somebody. So I think that's very cool and unique. Though I'll be honest with you, me as a listener, there are some people who listen to music and like lyrics first thing that hit them, and like the lyrics have to be it, or like it's not a song unless they're really connected by the lyrics and whatnot. But for me personally, I'm more of a feeling, mood kind of guy. And I remember there was one night, Ryan, you performed this at Bar Chord. And my life is, emotional from time to time. I'm a Pisces, but and I might have been drinking a little, but it really moved me to tears, literally moved me to tears. And so, as a musician, I have some ideas as to, the feeling and the emotions of the song. But what I want to get down with you is kind of the science of it. So, say I had no clue why I'm listening to this song and it's making me tear up. What would you say, like, the science of it, from the chords to whatever, what is it that gives it that feel?
Oh, it's a good question, Beach.
Thank you.
Well, the opening riff I came up with by myself, and like you said, like you hear that, it's like, that's a song, and it's just like 4-1-5. It's nothing special, but it's just like, I think there's like the high note is like the same on two of there's a cool little thing in there, and I think that kind of lays like a nursery rhyme kind of like familiarity. 1-4-5, everyone, it's real dominant Western music, so there's nothing special about it there, but it's simple and it's plain and it's pretty, and I think that kind of lull people into like some kind of comfort. The melody, I know I made some mistakes and I've been playing this. Yeah, there's a bit of, like you said, the lyrics are introspective, so as I'm performing it, I'm giving that, like, I'm not a riffer anyway, but like I'm not gonna like riff my ass off on it or like sing it particularly strong, because I'm wrong. I'm almost like coming at the person, like apologizing essentially. And so the performance is giving that feeling of humility, that feeling of being sorry. And I think like my boy Carl comes in with the flutes, and that the flute again kind of adds to that like familiarity, that nursery rhyme kind of feel, but can also be sad, like beautifully sad. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
mean that was something we're trying to evoke in the song, in the recording. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely, definitely. Oh yeah, and I noticed that part too, from hearing it very early. The jazz elements of it, they came kind of late in the song process, correct?
Yeah. So usually when I perform this, I would always ask the band to sit down, and I would do it solo. And I don't know, I have a thing about recording that I'm like, oh, it's going on record, I gotta add more instruments now. Maybe I should address that at some point in my life. I'll pay for therapy. But yeah, with this one, I was like, no, it was a question of drums or no drums. I knew I was gonna add instruments, but it was like, should there be drums or should there be no drums? We went with no drums. But yeah, I got Carl and Andy to come in because I knew that B section could be big, because it's the moment where it's just like, and that's where you're asking the question, what can I do to make it right? Some things may change, but you can't, I forget the line, but you can't negate the lies or something like that. And I feel like that's the moment where the narrator is like asking, like, how can I make this better? I don't think I can make this better. Oh, this is kind of frustrating. And so you get the big horn section, and then it kind of resolves with the but it still makes me blue, or like I'm feeling cold, the window pane is turning blue, and then we go back to the main theme, which again is like home, familiarity, that like nursery rhyme kind of thing.
Yeah, almost like lullaby,
Yeah, that's the word.
kind
I
of.
keep saying
Yeah.
rhyme, lullaby.
Lullaby. Yeah, yeah,
Honestly, if I could go
exactly.
back, and this is a problem, like I'm like, damn, I should have put a glockenspiel on there. I should have
Yeah.
put a techno on there, you know?
Yeah. Well, songs evolve. So, because I think that's also what's so great about it. And the the decision to not have drums in, tell us about that. Like, was that a hard decision to make? Because typically, especially in Western music, popular music, uh, cultural music, exactly, there's got to be some kind of drums and super rhythm section in there and whatnot. So yeah, how was that, making that decision process?
It didn't seem right. Like any times I tried playing with a drummer, like I said, when I did it live, I always asked the band to sit down. The most I would want is a bass player to fill out the low end. But anytime we put a drummer on there, it, it never felt right. So in the end, added the horns, added the things, and I thought about, okay, and it's like, sounds kind of corny. And then like, if you know me, Frank Ocean's Blonde is a big influence of the last 2 or 3 years. And so I think one of the things that's really cool about that record is he makes black music without drums. Basically, I mean, there's drums on it, but it's very sparse. So the other idea, I keep saying we, I say we because I work collaboratively, but the other idea I had was kind of like a tom or some kind of like doom, 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 somewhere through it. Tried that, didn't, it felt better without it. So yeah. So I mean, it wasn't a hard decision. It was the decision that worked for the song.
Work with a song. Word. Yeah, we were just having that conversation about what works for the song. Sometimes it's best to not have so much in it.
Leave shit out.
Yeah. But saying that, I do think that this song, because of how it's arranged and everything, I think it does have potential to be super big, like orchestra big, you know what I mean? Like, so maybe in some point, yeah, all of that. At some point in time down the future, it'd be something that you'd be open to. That'd be cool.
Are there any what are they called? Like the music supervisors who are interested in
musical directors
scoring any section of their piece? Yeah, I'd be down to add a string section to that. And then
word. Looking at you, Joey Murray.
Right?
Word. So this is going in Love in 3 acts. May I ask which act this is?
This is the third act. So yeah, so Love in 3 acts got it messed up, right? The third, it ends. I mean, if you look at the artwork, it ends in a heartbreak. So the final act is heartbreak. It is someone lamenting their poor decisions over the course of their relationship.
How did creating this song differ from creating the other two?
So the other two, oh man, I mean, Love in 3 acts is fun because it's like 3 songs and it's like 3 genres. It's like I do, like last one is like folk, I guess. The second one is like hip hop, R&B, and the first one's dancehall. So they're all, coming at it 3 different genres, approaching it. It's different by nature. With Blue, I had the song already written way before. I've been performing it for years. So we just essentially like, okay, what do I want to do with this? What kind of studio magic do I want to add with Blue? How do I utilize my friends best for this song that I've been playing? Whereas like Just Don't Know was written in the box, like on the computer the day the beat was made. So yeah.
Right. Word. Let's see. Do you have a favorite line or favorite line in writing?
That's funny because Blue probably is one of my favorite songs that I've written lyrically. One of our friends, Crystal Joy, an esteemed songwriter. I mean, I appreciate her songwriter. She needs to write more and she needs to get more of them out there before we call her esteemed. But I think she's a really good songwriter. She said she was like at the studio one day and she like was listening to it. And I don't know what the line was, but she was like, "You could write a lyric, right?" And I really, and like, I don't know if I told you this, but I really appreciated that coming from her. So yeah, I mean, I know I made some mistakes and I've been playing games. Oh, you know what it is? It's the part about playing with kindling. It's like all this time, you kept the flames, and I watched them die. You gathered the kindling while I played like children do. And I thought it was cool to rhyme kindling with children. But it's not, it's not a pointless rhyme. I think it's poignant. It's she's tending the flame of the relationship and gathering the sticks, and I'm off like skipping stones by the lake. Yeah. Which have actually happened in another relationship of mine. Like camping way more than I do. What can I say?
Yeah. I think that the depth of the lyrics is really what also propels this song to new heights. Like I said, for the most of me listening to this song over the years, it's kind of mostly just been the vibe for me. I'm just like that. I don't listen to lyrics as much as I should, I think. But after really giving it some listens and whatnot, I think it's very poetic. It's sad, but it's not like, I don't know, it's hard to say, but it's definitely like a sad song, but at the same time, it's almost like hopeful because of the redeeming nature of yourself. You know what I mean? The fact that, you know, you've seen that, you were playing with this person's heart, and it just wasn't as serious for you, what I'm getting from the lyrics. But you saw the pain that it was causing, and for you to want to rectify it towards the end, I think it's something that, it's not, I don't hear too often in music, and yet it's still something that resonates, I think, with a lot of people as far as those emotions. And me personally, as an empath, I would love it if more people did this in their all time. You know what I mean? Just look and reflect and really, see what they have done or what they could have caused for somebody else, and to want to rectify that. So
There's,
after, a bunch of listens.
sorry, go
Yeah, go ahead.
interrupted you.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a saying that like no one is the villain in their story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like no, when we write songs, we're writing our stories. So we've all been hurt, we've all been heartbroken, or we've been the Mac Daddy, or whatever the kids say these days. So I don't know. So yeah, you're right. There aren't many. I mean, that's like a part, like you said, that's a part of my growth. That's a part of me getting older and like becoming wiser and looking back like, oh man, that wasn't cool. And I mean, I wrote this song years ago.
Right.
So I'm 36, about to be 37. I probably wrote this song in my early 30s. But yeah, I mean, it's a process, and it helps to put it down. Now the question is like, is it egotistical to share it with this person and be like, hey, I wrote this about you, or I wrote this, like, does she know I was playing with her heart as much? Do I put that out?
Well, I mean, that's a question of questions, and I would leave that up entirely to you. But I'm all about completion. So if there's anything, that may be left incomplete between you and this person, then maybe it's something that they need to hear. And I don't think it would be egotistical, because I don't think it would be like, yo, I wrote this mad dope song, man. Why don't you just listen to it? It would have to, in my opinion, come along with the explainer, like, this is how I felt. And if anything, maybe thank you for being the inspiration. And whomever we speak of, I imagine that they would listen to the song and be like, yo, this is a really good song. You know what I'm saying? I'd hope that that'd be the case, and not on some "how dare you" and something like that.
I dare
The
you to
music speaks for itself. you know. So yeah, I think it's up to you, bro. You can do it if you want to.
I've over, because I mean, like you said, you've heard the song. It's been written for years. I've thought about it. I should just send it to her.
Yeah.
Should I send it to her? But yeah, I mean, she's married now. She has a kid, and like I'm married now. Like it's fine. There's like nothing there. I think
Right.
I think there's completion. I think if we saw each other, it'd be like, yo, what up? How you doing?
Yeah.
But also it'd be kind of nice to be like, yo, you inspired this. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, hopefully, again, like you said, if they're all happy and, on with their life, then it should be a nice and humbling experience for you, and a pleasing experience for them. And shit, maybe you got a super fan, some
Spend some coin.
word. 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 When it came to tell us about the recording process of just,
I mean,
like you said, the song has been in the works for a while. So when it came down to recording, yeah, just your thoughts on how that
my
went.
recording process usually goes something like a rhythm section is put down. So for this song, it was just the guitar, the main guitar part, and then a scratch vocal. Um, and then it's just like I said earlier, I'm a tinkerer, so I listen to it over and over again and come up with ideas and playing around. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, and I think I called in. I knew I wanted the flute in there really early, so I called Carl, and he came in and he put his part down. And with Carl and Andy, it's kind of like, here's the idea. I want you to do a thing that's kind of like a bah, 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 hear the chords, you know what to play, and they always come through. So yeah, I mean that one was more about was more about editing. Like where do I put
Mm.
those ba-na-na-na-na-na,
Right.
ba-na-na? Like I had that at the beginning, I had that as an intro at one point, and so it was a lot of and that's the beauty of working with digital, the DAW, whatever, just moving things around until it's set. I think Pat, who's celebrating his kid's birthday today, he played the bass, so he came down from Connecticut, recorded the bass, um, and yeah, I mean, it was really just about shuffling things around until it felt good, and I think what we stuck with feels good.
Word. So who played what? Just so we can
The
know.
illustrious Patrick J. Meyer. I don't even know if his middle initial is J. He's on the bass. Andy is playing trumpet, and Carl Van Beekum is playing flute and tenor sax in like bunch of sections. So like, yeah, Carl came in
Nice.
twice. He came in and did the main flute, doo, 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 that part with the saxophone, and then he came back with Andy and did the B section. It was good stuff. I love working with those guys. Fun, always fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely adds just the right amount of sazon
Mm.
to that track. Yeah.
Swaps.
Right, just enough. Word, word, word. So yeah, we kind of went over, how just sonically different this song is from the other two songs. And just again, I mean, kind of answer the question, but I'll answer it again, ask it again. Um, this one is a little less produced now. Like you've said that that was more by design, as far as not putting in drums or anything like that. But going forward, I'll ask, how do you feel about when you're recording music that's more like, studio with the drum kits and, synths and, heavily produced versus more of the, the live acoustic kind of feel? How do you feel about recording those differently?
I think I used to be all digital, and I'm not like a recording head. Like I'm not a guru on recording or anything. I would consider myself a newbie. Um, but yeah, I started with Logic, or no, like GarageBand, and then went to Logic, and just upgraded to Logic X like 6 months ago or something. So yeah, I mean that's like, and using a lot of plugins and the MIDI controller. That's what I'm used to, being able to draw things along the lines. I'm very comfortable with that. At the same time, before I recorded, I did music as a performance, as a performer, singing in groups and singing in bands and stuff and playing guitar. And with that, there's no fixing things. So now I recently got the tape machine, and tape machine's kind of like the in between of the worlds. Well, tape machine's all analog, real talk. There's no drawing anything in. But also being inspired by a lot of these producers I'm seeing on Twitter, Kalen Ellis and the Count specifically, they record just like everything, like live instruments. Dude was playing an olive oil bottle with
Mm,
two drumsticks, getting the like I was like, what? And so
mm,
I mean, you already know I've showed you some of the stuff I've been doing, like recording all manner of instruments. This
mm-hmm,
thing, it's cool, different levels of the water. Um, so yeah, I mean, now it's about melding the two and
mm,
learning Logic's sampler. It's definitely about melding the two. Before I was just recording the sound and then dragging the sound around. Now I'm recording the sound, putting it into the sampler, and then processing it through the sampler, and then playing it on the MIDI controller. So yeah, I mean, it's whatever works for the song. I like all of them. I like making music with people more than doing it by myself. But people suck sometimes, and sometimes doing it by yourself is the best way forward.
mm-hmm.
So yeah. I mean, yes, I love all of it.
Cool, cool, cool. How much of a how much of a musician do you feel you have to be a creator. It's a little off the topic of Blue, but I wonder, like, so you've been studying music your whole life, basically, and at the same time, music does, it's a lot about the feeling. So, how much of your musical background and your skills and experiences in learning and teaching music, how much is that an influence of you in this Love and Three Acts?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, I mean, it's always there. It's always there. I'm influenced by a lot of things around me. Um, I'm influenced by the Marvel Cinematic Universe in that not so much that I'm going to write songs about superheroes, but that like, oh my gosh, they're telling this incredible story over the course of 40 movies. What if I told a story over the course of 40 songs? What if I'm inspired by all kinds of like artistic movements. I'm not a punk, but the punk aesthetic of DIY is super cool. Um, I'm not super into electronic music, but like synthesizers can add a real kind of cool vibe to the sound I'm going for. And like, I'm no longer singing classical music, but we're about to release a song that samples a piece that we did in high school. That's like one of the most famous classical pieces. So yeah, like my history of studying music definitely influences me. I don't know. I mean, specifically with Blue or this project, it's there in that hearing Blue, I was like, oh yeah, we need a section. We need like some horns on this. We need not a band, but we need some musicians to come and play on this. And like the VST is not gonna cut it because it's already bare bones. It's already raw and exposed. And I felt that like that's when you need to hear like the air passing through the flute as it's going over the mic,
Mm-hmm.
and not a flute sample. And there are times when I'm making a hip hop beat, and my roommate's a big reggae guy, and he's always like scoffing at samples. And it's like, bro, I can play guitar. I can play guitar. I'm not the best guitarist, but I always plug the guitar in and play it. I don't want that. I want that choppy guitar sound, and I want that crackle from the vinyl recording. And I can't get that with me plugging in and playing. So yeah, all things are influencing me at all times. Sometimes I'm more aware of it and calling on something, and I think mostly it just kind of happens.
Super dope, super dope. This song in particular, I think when raw is one of the words you just used. To me, it is very raw and revealing and open. So, like, as an artist, how important is it, do you think, that we're able to really show and display a variety of our emotions, and probably the ones that are more kept on the inside? Again, like, one of the reasons why I love this song is because it's authentic. It's something that it's like, look guys, like, no, I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. And like, I have my faults all in the same. So how important is that to you as far as making music?
I think it's really important because it's so easy to say like, oh, no one sings about this stuff, no one raps about this stuff. And that's not true. Lots of people do. They're just not in the mainstream. But like when you're coming up, when you're a young kid, you're not. I wasn't digging. I didn't have older siblings to tell me what was hip, so I was listening to the mainstream, and the mainstream has like a not so much the narrative, but just like specifically with like black music and black musicians, right? You
Mm,
I think Post Malone or some other rapper got in trouble because they were like, "Oh, rap music, you can't be emotional," and they were stupid for saying that. But I didn't give them too much shit for saying that. I mean, they were old enough; they should know better. But if you don't pay attention, if you don't dig, you would think that. You would easily
yeah.
think, if you don't buy albums, if you only buy singles and you only listen to top 10, yeah, rap music is not about expressing emotions. And if it's an emotion, it's like joy because of how you got money, or anger because of how someone took your money. And like there's a place for that. And like I said, there are artists making stuff that isn't that, and I just want to join them. And I want to become part of the people trying to uplift the 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 culture, or just not so much uplift the culture, but just like say like, yo, it's cool to sing. Like you don't have to go to a white like singer songwriter with a guitar to feel,
Right.
you know. um and then like, yeah, if it's a dude singing, a lot of times like, yeah, that dude is singing about heartbreak or his girl left him, and it's like, that's cool too. I've sung about that. But yeah, it's cool to become introspective and say I've done wrong, um and to do it in a genre that some might think is not ours, but like most things, we have our hand in it. So I'm gonna jump back in it and pluck my guitar and sing country music or whatever.
Right. I think that's so dope, man. I think that that really is cool. I just watched the I got a story to tell, the Biggie thing on Netflix.
Yeah, how was it?
And there's been like it was dope. It was dope. It was a different one because I'm like, there's been so many different
That's what
Biggie
I was thinking.
tellings.
Another one.
Yeah, but this one it's more like found footage, more like behind the scenes footage stuff. But one thing that came out that I didn't know about Biggie was he also embraced a lot of his Jamaican heritage, and loved the music, and he listened to country music like every day. They said, you know what I'm saying? And so I thought that was real cool, and of course makes, in my opinion, better artists, just to be able to to really incorporate, and just to even listen and be open to different types of songs, because yeah, I was wondering how you feel. I don't know if you've gotten any backlash from said black community about, you're a black male Jamaican, artist, and you're singing, folk songs. Blue particularly is more on, in that vein. How do you feel about that? Has anybody, ever come to you about that or
Been
not?
pretty supportive. Any negative has just been disinterest. But
Word.
people been supportive. I had one person, I posted something about on one of my this or that episodes, about the Marty Robbins record, and someone posted on my Instagram that they were like, country music has been, what did they say? Something about like is like kept black people out, or made not for black people. And it
Mm,
wasn't, I'm screwing up their whole thing. They didn't say that, but it was something that wasn't true. And I was like,
yeah.
no, uh, it's like country music is like, I
Word.
don't want to say ours, but we have, the grounds are there, like farm songs, like
Right.
field songs, and like the banjo is an African instrument. The banjo was old black dudes bucking it before like dudes in Appalachia got to it. So no one's been negative about it. I think it's more just like, oh.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, man, that is Blue again. Hands down, one of my favorite songs, not just by you, but period. I absolutely adore that song.
It's
And
coming
so
out.
that's right. I can't wait to get it on that vinyl too. So saying that, I guess the last thing I'll ask is, knowing that you have a true super fan of that song in front of you, is there anything that you would want to ask me about Blue?
Great question. Hmm, is there? Man, you should have told me this question before.
I don't know.
Edit it. We'll edit it. We'll
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's a good question. What would I ask a person who really connects with the song Blue? Okay, so the song is a story. The song tells a story of a person who did wrong in a relationship, and feels bad about it, but kind of like, all right, that's the way it is. And at the end, they're black and blue now. And you said you were brought to tears, but I know your personal life, and I don't think that specific story resonates with you, does it? What was it that, because yeah, you're saying you weren't listening to the lyrics so much.
Hmm.
What was it, or what is it about the sound of the song? without the horns, like just the guitar and my beautiful voice, what is it that like brings out that emotion for you?
Yeah. Cool. Good question. For me, it's like you said, the lullaby. So is it I don't want to sound stupid, but the appreciation, right, of the chords, the ding 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 ding, as opposed to like playing them block out, I think is what, it kinds of it lulls you down, you know what I mean? And so for me at that time, or anytime I listen to it, really, it's like there's so much going on in my life at times, it can really bring me down to a calming, more relaxing of a place where I guess, at that moment for me, it was, like a letting a guard down, so to speak, and again, like it's kind of hard for me to explain without using a lot of musical vernacular that I don't really know myself. Um, it's really just that feeling, and then of course coupled with the performance. When I saw it, it was you live. So for me, it's always that added feeling of it. In the song, and again, like you said, like I love the fact that it's not oversung. You're not singing on it like, yo, I'm a singer. You know what I'm saying? You're singing on it like, yo, I'm a human. You know what I'm saying? And I've got something that I really want to say. You know what I mean? And for me, that was pretty much it. The lulling of it, the minor of the key that makes it, more spooky and elemental, so to speak, kind of a thing. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but I hope that I did a
No,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, that's good. I need to remember this so I can make another one like it.
Make more music like it.
Gotta break
Exactly.
more hearts, man. Just gotta be more.
Yeah, man. That's it. That's it.
Well, thank
So,
you so much.
no
Um,
problem.
ladies and gentlemen, the illustrious Obeji Williams, aka the Beej, interviewing me for Loving Three Acts. That is our podcast. Thank you so much for visiting us. Till next time, peace out.
One.